Hey, yo, Brandon, what's poppin', boy? Underexposed podcast. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I heard. You already know what it is. Let's get it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Underexposed. This is the show that we created where we get deep and under with our guests, and we expose some of the great things about some of your favorite photographers, YouTubers, videographers, content creators, models, and more. I mean, the list just goes on and on. I am your host, Brandon Cole, and you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us tonight, and we appreciate you. So, without further ado, I am going to get right into it, and I'm going to introduce my next guest for Underexposed, all the way from Columbus, Ohio, the Midwest, by way of Florida and NYC. Listen, this young man has been in the photography space since around 2009. He started as a retoucher and later ended up actually developing a passion for photography. And that's the way you want. That's how you get started. Out of all the brands, though, he grew a keen interest to Nikon. We got to talk about that. Started collaborating with Nikon back in 2002. Later, kind of took his talents to YouTube, where he started his own podcast, Relations with Ryan, which I had the pleasure of going on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Boca Nation, please help me welcome our next guest, Mr. Ryan Choi. What is going on, family? How are you tonight?
What's going on, man? Listen, that was a really nice intro. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. You know we have to bring you in, right, man? You did the same thing for me, so we got to return the favor on the show, man. How's everything going, man? I've been following you, man. You've been doing some amazing stuff, man, and you shoot with some amazing models, man. We're gonna get into all that, man. But tell everybody what's going on with you. How are you today?
What's going on, man? You know, like you said, Ryan Troy just came back from a Vegas trip. Did a lot of shooting out there. Summertime's about to come up and just planning on traveling, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Going to different states and just trying to shoot as many different sceneries as I can.
Absolutely. I love it. And that's so funny because that's on my agenda. That's on my agenda to talk to you about Vegas. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit here in a second. But we're gonna get right into these questions, man. I have some few questions for you, and I know a lot of people wanted to know a few things about just you as a photographer, what got you into photography, and maybe we can shed a little light on a few things. So we're gonna start this off, man. Here, like back in the days of you being a retoucher, retouching photos and everything, tell me, what was it that clicked for you that said, I want to be on the other side of the camera. I don't want to be touching up everything. I want to actually be the one taking the pictures. How did you transition from retouching to actually shooting?
So, that's a really good question, and I'm gonna try to wrap it up as quick as possible because it's long. It's long. Right. So, when I was young, like small, it was something called Paint Shop Pro. I think it was Jazz Paint Shop Pro.
Okay.
And man, I'm telling you, like from MySpace and everything, I will always just edit photos and stuff like that. And then growing up, I had a lot of friends that did music videos, and I thought that I wanted to be into filming, right? So I went to like a local little, film school or whatever. But at that time, it's not like it is now where we have these mirrorless cameras, gimbals, and you could kind of be a one-man band. You needed a team.
Facts.
And I didn't have that team. So it was like, I just went into, and this is the part that's crazy. Jared Poland, he used to do, it's crazy. He used to do on his channel where he would give raw photos out to the community.
Okay.
And they will all edit the photo.
Right.
So I couldn't afford a camera at that time.
Okay.
And all I was doing was just retouching. I knew I wanted to do photography. It's just I couldn't afford to do photography.
Okay.
So I got real good at that, and I ended up taking an internship with these two photographers in Jersey, Hoboken, Jersey.
Okay.
I was in New York City at the time.
Right.
And just working with them, they was doing the test shots with the modeling agencies, like the camera, like the equipment they had was official. Right. And all I was doing was just sitting back and retouching. And I think at that point, that's when I really was like, I want to be doing this same exact stuff. You know what I mean? And then me, like I said, watching Jared Poland like that, that's really what got me into Nikon, because he started with Nikon. So it was like, and back then, Nikon and Canon, they was the real two big ones back then.
Absolutely.
So editing all of the Nikon files through Jared Poland kind of pushed me to Nikon, I feel like.
Okay, that makes sense. So what? So but what
Yeah.
about But why taking the pictures though? Why not just
Hmm.
continue to retouch? What made you want to actually take? Was it the images that you were seeing that you wanted to recreate, or like
Definitely.
what was that thing that snapped in you? Like, I'm getting the camera.
Right.
I'm gonna take the pictures.
Right. So like I said, I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to. I just couldn't afford it.
Okay.
I couldn't afford it, and retouching photos was just easy because it comes to me. Like
Mhm.
you can give me the photo, I retouch it.
Okay.
You know, and at that point, like I was young at that time. It was 2009. I think I was probably like 21, 22. I left Florida to go back to New York. I was, I didn't have no job or nothing like that. So my
Mhm.
first camera that I bought that I was able to afford was a D90. It's
Okay. Yeah.
a DX is in the Nikon world camera, but I took that camera out everywhere, man. I started with off camera flash.
So you
I
jump right
don't
into
want to jump the
Flash?
gun because yes, speed
What?
light. And this is the part that's crazy because high speed sync is so popular now.
Correct.
Um, but back then we didn't have high speed sync like that. I mean, you
Mm.
remember like the Pocket Wizards
Oh
and
yeah, of
all of
course.
that
Yeah.
other expensive stuff that I
Plug them
couldn't.
pocket
Yeah,
wizards into every camera what?
right. But see, me, what I did was man, I don't even know if this brand's still around, but it's like Young Nuo or something like
Of
that.
course, yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody
Yeah,
had them
you know what
young
I'm talking
nuos.
about.
What?
So they sold these cheap triggers,
Triggers,
right?
yeah.
And I had speed lights.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the speed light into it. Before I was doing that, I had to shoot in like slave mode with the flash
With the
on top,
flash, yeah.
another one. But in the daytime, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard to do because you can't unless
It,
you like real close, you
it
can't
can't see the
trigger it
light.
like
Yeah,
that.
it can't see the light from the other
Exactly.
flash. Come on, man. What?
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Who didn't used to do that? What?
Right. And then, like I
Absolutely.
said, so when you on a crop sensor and you don't got money like that, like I didn't have the best lenses. I had a kit lens. So
Mm-hmm.
like my aperture never was 2.8 or anything like that.
No,
So
none of our
I
stuff
didn't,
was.
right. So I didn't need high speed sync at that point. It was just a big aperture where you see everything.
Mm-hmm.
And an ND filter if I had to bring that out. But I shot a lot at night too to
Okay.
help that out to where I didn't, run into those problems. But
Right.
man, that's how I started. And I feel, I feel sorry because I feel like nowadays people aren't even going out and getting that practice like I feel like we did in the beginning.
Man, I love I love that. I absolutely love that because we had that conversation on the show not too long ago, and we talked about how we talked about the community today. And actually that's actually I'm probably gonna say that question because that's actually another one of your questions. But we will come back to that, man. But I want to ask you about your genre of photography
Okay.
because I know you said something about beauty photography and portraits and
Hmm.
everything. Okay, what's your favorite since over the years since you've been doing photography? What do you feel like your favorite genre of photography is to shoot, and why is that?
Okay. I like that question. Cause I feel like I started out kind of street,
Okay,
in New York, just going around doing that.
so urban.
Right. Then I kind of went a little bit into editorial. I was scared of the studio at first, but I got these impact studio lights and I
Ooh.
used to just rent out studio time and then just do it like that. So I was trying to go more editorial, but
Mm-hmm.
I end up it's like as times change, trends in photography change. But beauty photography really caught me. Like it's this photographer that I know on Instagram. Her name's like Sarah Brown Photo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like a lot of people don't know, but definitely check out. Listen, this woman changed my life just
Mm-hmm.
by her Instagram page. Now it was this other guy named like Bruley. I can't even pronounce his name like Broly or something. He's from New York. So
Mm-hmm.
at first he was kind of my inspiration as far as the editorial. But when I ran into her beauty shots and just reached out and she put me onto that 105 macro, Sigma macro.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
keep
have it.
that I'm surprised it's not next to me because I keep that
Oh
lens
yeah, I
on me
got it.
all
I
the
got that
time.
one too.
Yeah. So once I ran into that and learned to like, don't shoot that at 2.8 for beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Like shoot that
Yeah,
at
stop
a,
it down.
exactly.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, just
because it's
that and
all
then
that lens is
retouching.
already sharp. You stop it down, it's like a
Yeah.
razor.
Exactly.
Oh
Well, you
yeah.
see them little hairs on the face that you ain't even know exist.
Oh, trust me, I know. I use that lens. I mainly use it for wedding shots and ring shots and stuff like that. I haven't really
Yep.
taking that. But when I do beauty work and I need to get that close, that's the main lens that I run into is the 105 2.8 macro. So yeah,
Definitely.
I absolutely know about that, man. I absolutely
So
know about
beauty,
that.
right? Beauty photography would be what I love to do. The thing about it is a lot of that stuff is like passion projects because it's not that many people that want to book that, and then that's kind of expensive because that the retouching in that is real detailed. So
Absolutely.
right. So majority of the stuff that I do, because like I have a business with photography. Like, you have some people on YouTube that, do it for fun. No, this is my business.
Right.
So I do a lot of graduations, a lot of portraits. So that's my main goal right there is portraits, graduation, stuff like that. I stay away from weddings because I don't want the headache. I I have a full-time job, so I don't need the headache. So yeah, so that's my main right there.
That's not bad, man. And I understand you talked about your business and everything. That was something else that we had on here. We talked about people developing photography businesses, especially in 2024. And
Mm-hmm.
I was asking somebody, and I'll ask you the same thing. Somebody came to you and they talked about wanting to start a photography business. What advice would you give them? Because starting a photography business, there's a lot that goes under this umbrella of starting a
Mm-hmm.
photography business, like your level of expertise and your skill set and so many things. You're not just going out and just pointing a camera. You want to start a business. The
Right.
expectations of you and your skill set and what you can do will determine if this is something that you can really grow into an actual business,
Right.
because it's not as easy as other businesses that you can start. It's not like going to, it's like barbershops. You go to one barber, they're pretty good. You go to another barber,
Mm-hmm.
they're better. Then that's who you're gonna want to go with, regardless of the price. And it don't
Right.
matter how much you like being a barber. If your stuff is not up there, you're not gonna. It's gonna be really hard to develop that clientele and make that money, right?
Right.
So
Right.
photography is pretty much the same thing. If you're in the area with amazing photographers, it's hard to compete in that space. So how do you maintain
Right.
your business and get it out there like that?
So I'm gonna, man, and I could go on this topic for hours because I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, Doing photography, I lived in New York. I
Oh
lived in
boy.
Houston for a year, and I
Woo-hoo!
lived in and
You
I
got some
lived
heavy
here in
hitters in them
Columbus.
areas, boy.
And my business didn't take off until I moved here. That's
Hmm.
the part that's crazy.
In Ohio.
So in Ohio,
Hmm.
and so New York, it was just, and I was nowhere
That's the
close to the
fashion
level that
capital
I
of the
am now.
world.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah,
got everybody
definitely.
up there.
Yeah, so I got no play, man. Listen, I was doing event photography when I lived in New York, and I was doing it for really really cheap at
Mhm.
that. Like I mean, $125, and I'm there for like
Absolutely.
4 hours. Like I was horrible, but this is the thing, right? Because all of this falls on you. I feel like, and you just got to go with it because
Hmm.
photography, when you have a business, photography becomes 25%
Hmm.
because you have so many other things you got to do. Listen, I am still paying a $10,000 debt to the
Hmm.
IRS right now
Hmm.
for messing business up. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's just like it's knowing your stuff. So now I use Square. Somebody like, hey, I pay you in cash, nope, Square invoice.
Hmm.
I need every single thing documented because I need to know exactly what I can't keep putting money in different bank accounts from cash and then not realizing what it is.
Hmm.
It's just business, knowing business in general is just it's
It's
going to
big
help you
by
with
itself.
photography.
Hmm.
Yeah. Customer service, that's the next thing. Like,
Hmm.
once you're talking about business, you have to be professional, and we all have clients that's going to make us mad. We all got clients
Absolutely.
that's going to frustrate us, but you got to know
Ain't
how
that the
to keep
truth?
your cool.
Whew.
Yeah, you got to know how to keep your cool. It's so many things that's always going to pop up. So that's why I'm like, photography is
Gotta
25%.
have
Now
thick
I'm gonna tell
skin.
you, yeah, I'm gonna tell you another reason why I feel like photography is 25%.
Hmm.
There's a lot of there's a lot of photographers out there that me personally I don't feel um is is, I'm gonna just say, better than me in photography.
Right.
But they have every other thing that they stay book way more than me. So many wedding photographers, you know, whether it's men, whether it's women, so many of them have so many weddings lined up. And I look at their work and I'm like,
boy, you better
yeah,
talk
I'm like,
that
yo,
talk,
y'all getting
boy.
paid like that?
Man.
But they know their business. They know their business. They know how to interact with people.
There's
they know
somebody here after the show. I'm gonna tell you his name, and I know who. I bet you know who it is. There's somebody around this area. Same thing. But when you go work to work, there's nobody that compares. But man, for some reason, this dude makes
so much money. Yeah. So
he knows business.
But that's also a good thing, because so many photographers look at people working. I was like this in the beginning too, where I'm like, man, I ain't nowhere like him. How am I supposed to make money? They're making money. They're making a lot of money. So you just got to have that trust in yourself. You got to have, like I said, just that business knowledge and all of that, and you can really, really go far, man. Like I said, with event photography, word of mouth got me so many different. Like being at an event, you got different families there. At that point, I was giving cards away. Next thing you know, it's like I'm the family photographer for 7 different families that I met through one family. You know what I'm saying? It's that word of mouth, man.
Yeah.
So
word of mouth definitely plays a big factor in it, man. And you know, you can get out there and socialize and network, and you know, and that's a lot about it. I think that's another 25-30%, man. When you can network, oh man, you can move, whether you can actually shoot or not. If you can network, man, you can make some ducats, man. And that's crazy. And I was gonna ask you about that. Since you've been in photography for a while now, you know, and you've seen different developments. You've seen it grow, you've seen it adapt, you've seen a lot of people adapt since 2009, 10, 11, 12. Tell me something that you don't like that's happening, because I know that there's a lot of things that we like. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of photographers, and we see a lot of things going on in the photography community. But I want to know I want to know something that you don't like that's happening, or people are getting accustomed to, that's kind of changing the landscape of what's going on in the photography community today.
Definitely. You know what? And this part that's crazy. It gets easier and easier and easier to become a photographer, that I feel like people aren't becoming a photographer for the right reasons.
Yes.
Now, like when I started, I started retouching because I could not afford a camera. I got a DSLR, but now when you get mirrorless cameras, right? We used to boom, camera right there on your eye.
Yep.
Go through that little focal point. You know what I'm saying? And you only had this many options to choose from with these squares. So you put it there, you recompose. Like it was so many tricks of the trade. Yeah, it was so many tricks of the trade you had to know how to do. You got to so now people just get a camera and they see they just see something and they push the button. Yeah, they see, but exposure, all of that, and they not really realizing. They get it on Lightroom. They're like, oh man, this is kind of blurry a little bit,
bright,
because
too dark,
you decided
too blurry.
Yeah, you decided to slow down your shutter speed too much. People aren't falling it, but unfortunately, it's life now, because like that's just how we consuming everything. It's just boom, we get it. We do it. We think we the best. We go, but it's like, man, I love, and I know you said you wanted to talk about Vegas and all that, but I love getting up with other photographers, like just being able to pick people's brains, see how they think, watch how they shoot. You know what I mean? Just stuff
and
like
that's
that.
so crazy, because that's contrary to some of the things that other people was saying, and I agree with you. I feel we had that conversation also where we talked about photographers that, or people who come into this business industry or picks up a camera, and they want it now. You know, they want the great images now. They want the retouching and the frequency separation. They want it all now. They want the great image now, and they forget, or they what's the word, truncate. They truncate the grind, the thing that took us to get to where we are, you know, today as photographers. Like nothing was ever given to me. Like everything from shooting flash to natural light to LED to shooting in the daytime, nighttime, regardless of what I shot. Everything that I know in photography, regardless of how much I know, I had to learn on my own. I had to do a lot of grinding. I didn't make a dime in photography for years, at least 4 or 5 years. And I've been in this thing for a long time. But until I got to that point to where I felt like my work was acceptable for, okay, now if I charge somebody, at least I know I will be giving them quality work, but it's like people just don't appreciate the grind no more. They want them images now. And it's like, you gotta grind, you gotta understand your camera, you gotta understand your composition, you gotta understand the invert, you gotta understand the laws that govern light when it comes to photography, and if you just forget all of that and you don't want, hey, can you tell how many messages have you got where it's like, hey, I love your work. Can you hey, how do you get your shot? What did you shoot with? What was your settings?
Right.
It's more than just about my setting.
Exactly. Like the settings, that right there, man, that do. And I know you probably get it too if you like post something on your YouTube and like you don't put the settings there. Like, hey, what was your setting? I'm like, listen,
what was your settings
if
for
I
that
go
shot?
out there to the same spot right now and take the shot, the settings gonna be totally different.
Totally different.
It's gonna be totally different. So it's like you can't. What was your flash power? Like, so you're gonna put this light exactly where I was and have these same exact circumstances that I did around this? If I give you this, that's the worst thing about YouTube is that question. I really hate that question. I really hate that question.
Shoot,
the only time that should matter, man. The only time that should matter is if you're doing a lens review and you're just telling what aperture you're shooting at, just to give people context of how sharp or whatever it is at that aperture. They're not gonna understand it. But if we're not reviewing some technicality behind the lens, my settings don't matter. It really don't matter.
It don't matter, man. There's a lot more that you gotta learn, and it's just trying to copy my settings. I mean, what's the purpose of it? Are you literally gonna go out there and put everything at the exact settings I tell you?
Right.
Everything is gonna be different.
If you do now.
Yeah. Like, hey, I did that and it didn't work. Like, why are you giving us that information and it's not working?
Right.
Man, you know how many factors go into that?
Exactly.
It's all kind of things.
This ain't no recipe for some food where you weighing out everything and then you put the right amount of salt and pepper. Nah, it's different. It's the difference between going by a recipe and tasting it and knowing how to cook something. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what we doing over here.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So one thing that I will say too is if you are new, like two things. One, stop trying to shoot the baddest models and stop getting offended when they don't respond to you. You need to find somebody that is a aspiring model and go out there and learn. Y'all both gonna have the time of your life.
Hey,
you know how many?
That's so crazy. We had that question too.
Yeah, like y'all gonna both go out there. She gonna learn how to pose. You gonna learn how to deal with the light, especially golden hour stuff. Y'all both gonna learn. It's gonna be the best experience you could ever have.
Well, while you're on that subject, I might as well ask you that. Even though we had that question a few days ago, I'm gonna just ask you since we're on the subject. For you, you tell me, what do you like shooting better, or actually, I'm not gonna even ask you which one you like shooting better. What do you? Tell me the difference between, I'll just do it like that. That way we can keep everything level headed. What's the difference between shooting with a experienced model versus shooting with a first time model or a new model or somebody who hasn't modeled that much? How do you deal with the both?
So I'm gonna be honest with you, man, because I told you and I tell you this all the time, man. You like one of the king of posing. I tell everybody that this man right here is the king of posing, and I'm not that good at it. So I do love working with experienced models because I feel like it makes my job easy. Okay. But a lot of the portraits and graduations I do, it's not with models, it's just with regular people.
Right? Clients.
So it's right. So it's a huge difference. But if you know how to pose, I feel like it shouldn't be a difference for you. For me, I do struggle with it at times, but it's breaking in that person, because a lot of times in the beginning they're stiff. They don't, you know what I mean? But it's also just that personality. That's why I said it all comes down to you also as a person. You can't be no stiff, non-sociable and that's the thing about you too, is like you get out there, you communicate, you funny, all type of stuff. You make a person feel comfortable. When you can
Absolutely.
make a person feel comfortable, you can get whatever it is that you want
You
out of
sure
them.
can.
You also got to know when to show them the photo. When they
Mm-hmm.
take some photos, they don't look that good in it, you do not show them that photo. You take a
Mm-hmm.
photo, they look great, you show them that photo, it gives them more confidence. Now they trust you
Mm-hmm.
more. So now when you telling them what to do, they're going to do it. Because sometimes in the beginning, they could feel as if they look weird holding this certain pose, but they don't even know what angle you're shooting them from.
Right.
So it's just like you gotta break that in, and then after that, that's when it gets to that. So
Okay. And
I'll
that's a
probably
good.
take a lot more photos in a shoot than you too, though, because I don't pose like that.
Yeah.
Like you probably come through with what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I come through
That's
with a
it.
lot because I don't pose like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
no,
like,
no. I take a
yeah,
few shots and that's it. Cause I'm normally able to get exactly what I want. And they know what
right.
to expect when they come shoot with me. But that's great that you hit on that too. But and I want y'all to hear exactly what he just said, because everything that he just said was absolutely on point. But the only thing I would rebuttal is
Mm-hmm.
not showing your client or not showing your model the bad pictures, because that can be very, very helpful to them in this sense. Let me explain. So when
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with my models, especially let's talk about first time models. Let's talk about new models, experienced
Right.
people who have shot for a little bit, people who have shot with experienced photographers. They have an idea. We're talking about people
Right.
that don't have as much experience. So you're saying, well, we shouldn't show them the pictures. Here's the thing about that then. When you shoot with a client, when you shoot with a model, first time model and everything, you want to get them comfortable. Everything that you just said was on point. You want to have fun with them. You want them to open up to you, because once they get to that comfort level, oh, the sky's the
Mm-hmm.
limit. They'd be like, oh shoot. So how do you get to that point? Well, when I can take a first time model, and I love working with first time models because I can groom them into exactly what I want them to do,
Mm-hmm.
even if I've never seen them before, even if I've only worked with them the first time. I can come to a shoot and I'm chipper, I'm happy, like, hey, what's going on? And they already intimidated, like, oh my god, I'm about to shoot with this dude. I'm like, yo, come on,
Yeah.
let's get this. So once we set the scene, once we got our location, everything, once we get ready to go, I put them in there, put them in their position, and I start taking the pictures. I'm like, okay, all right, okay, cool. Here we go. Start taking a few pictures, and then after I take about 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures, I show them. They see the lighting, flash, everything looks
Mm-hmm.
good. I show them the pictures. They be like, that's me.
Right.
What?
Right.
I was like, see, I
Right.
told you, you better come on. And then they, okay. And then it literally takes like 2-3 minutes, and they all for it, because
Mm-hmm.
you have to get them warmed up like that. You have to do it exactly like that. But then
True.
once we get to that point, now it's like, okay, she knows what she looks like when I'm shooting her versus what she's used to. Now we move to the second
Mm-hmm.
phase. Now it's showing you the bad stuff and showing you, this
Right.
is what you're giving me, but this is
Yeah.
what I need. You know,
Right. Right.
so
Right. Yeah.
now, and I
I
do that
agree.
with
I agree 100%.
my experienced models today, where they can come to the shoot, and sometimes, like Sarah and a lot of people that I shoot, sometimes we'll start shooting, and I tell them, I put them in a pose, or they'll put themselves in a pose, and they'll go like this or something like that. But what I really want is, I want the intensity, I want the boom,
Right.
but you giving me this, but I want
Right.
this. So a lot of times
Right.
when I take that first shot, I show them, and I'll be like, look, this is what you giving me, but this is what I want. And they be like, okay, all right, cool, got you. And then they'll
Right.
put a little bit more emphasis on it. Not necessarily a
Mm-hmm.
bad picture, but I gotta show you what you look like,
Right.
so you can understand what I need from you in order to get this
Right.
shot.
I agree with
I
that.
need to
Definitely.
show you what I need that's going to be more captivating to your audience. So when people look at this image, they're gonna be like, wow. Because shooting, flash, camera, lens, all of that stuff, that's half the
Mm-hmm.
battle. Most of the people, what really captivates an audience is the pose and the expression. You can
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing that matters, whether you're shooting flash or natural light. The main thing that stands out is the pose and the expression. If the
Yep.
model is just blank face, your image falls flat. What's the first thing you do when you get with a model and they be like, hey Ryan, I want to shoot with you? I'm like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you do is go to their page, look at every picture that they got. And it's going to tell
Definitely.
you whether they got it or not. I'm like, but what they see, what do you see? Sometimes every picture, what is always the same?
They don't smile,
The
and yeah, they
expression.
just yeah.
The expression. Exactly
Mm-hmm.
my point, man. That's exactly my point. So yeah, man, it's the same. It's the same thing across the board, man. But yeah, sometimes showing them that picture and actually telling them like, this is what you've given me, but this is what I
Right.
need. I need that intensity.
Right.
I need more from you.
But I guess my question would be, because I do like what you said, because you was like, you said then we go on to phase 2,
Mm-hmm.
right? So see, that makes sense. That makes sense. But would you ever do phase 2 first? Would you ever show them a bad picture first before you give them that shot where they did real good? I guess that's my question.
Good question. No, absolutely not. Because
Right.
if I don't want to I don't want that to be the tone. I don't want that to be the standard
Exactly.
of the shoot.
Yep.
I'm not going to come out automatically starting to show you bad pictures. That doesn't, especially
Right.
if you're first, especially if you're new. I need you to warm up. I need you to be happy.
Right.
I need you to see what we doing. So I'm gonna show you a bunch of pictures before I even start really putting the pressure on you. And this being on set and been doing this for so a while, it's like second nature to me. I know exactly from shooting, already getting in the space with you, seeing your body language, seeing how you are, seeing what you're capable of doing, looking at your expression. Like there's 1,000 things that go through a photographer's mind or go through my mind as soon as I see somebody and raise my camera, I'm thinking of 1,000 things already. And from the client, I mean, from the model to the flash to the location to everything, people don't understand the amount of data that goes through your mind just to take one shot, because there is a lot. There's a lot, man. But yeah, I wouldn't do that first. I don't set that tone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I feel you.
But yeah, that was a good question, man. I mean, we could probably talk about that all day, man,
Forever.
because there's a lot. There's a lot with that, man. And it's just like, it's not just one answer. It's so much more with it, man. But anyway, I had a question on here, man. I wanted to ask you, have you ever experienced a situation where a client wanted to hire you, but as soon as you told them your prices, they was like, all right, cool, I'll get back with you. And then later on, you saw them, or shoot with somebody else with way lower quality. And it's like,
yes.
And sometimes, so I had somebody and they was like, that made me question my prices. That made me question, like, maybe I should drop my prices. Maybe I should adjust some things. So for you talking to somebody like that, or somebody telling you, hey, Ron, should I adjust my prices? Should I do the blah, blah, blah? What advice would you have for photographers who experience that? Because you're going to experience it. If you're a photographer long enough, you're going to lose some clients over your prices.
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes, no, for one, no, like, don't adjust your prices. No. Your prices are fine.
The price.
But the thing about it is, and that does happen to me, and I like the photo and everything, because it's like certain clients you just don't want, though. Like if you want to work with me, like when I want to do things, I'm paying it regardless. Like, I don't care what it is. If it's a restaurant I want to go to for a certain dish, whether I could get that same dish from someplace else, I want that. So I go there and I pay for it. So if you want to work with me, that's what you want. So you pay it. If you don't, then you go somewhere else. And I'm fine with that. Like, that doesn't bother me, and I would never change my price because of it. Like, I've had that happen all the time, but like I said,
oh yeah,
I don't even think my prices are high like that. Like, I feel like a lot of other people's prices are way higher than mine. So for my prices to turn you off, it's like, so be it then at that point. So no, don't change it. Yeah, don't change your prices, man. Change your prices. It's always gonna happen.
So I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. I'm gonna test your what's the good word? I'm gonna test your professionalism here. So we're gonna stay on the same topic. So when we talk about prices, tell me or tell someone if they're talking to you and they're like, how do I set my prices? How do somebody set their prices? What do they need? How do you determine how much you are valued, how much you are worth when setting your prices for photography?
And the thing about this question, because this question gets brought up a lot by people, they ask this question a lot. And it's so many people that's like, you need to factor in how much your lens costs. And I don't care about that. I'm sorry, I just don't care about that. So my price goes on what I feel. I'm sorry, but my prices, I told you, my price ain't that high like that. But my prices go on based on how comfortable I am with doing that work and what I get. Sometimes I do go into situations where I'm like, dang, man, I just let these people get over on me. You know what I mean? Like, I do go into stuff like that. And I think because I have a full-time job, that my prices, which is the reason why my prices aren't as high as other people, because to me, all of this is extra. Like, this is play money. But once again, that's why I owed the IRS $10,000 because this was play money and it shouldn't have been.
Right.
But, so that's how I go to me. You can look at other people's prices if you want to. You can try to judge all of that. But at the end of the day, you got to feel like, same thing where if you have a job, if you go to your job and you like, man, I feel like I'm underpaid. I'm doing all of this work and I'm not making the money that I should be making. Either they need to give me a raise or I need to go somewhere else. Same way you need to feel about your photography. So, I'm doing all of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm doing all of this editing and da-da-da-da. Either you adjust your package, because I do packages. Either you adjust your packages or you adjust your price. Those are your two options. Adjust your packages or adjust your price.
So, which is great, but how do they determine what their price should be? Like, how do I set my price? Like, hey, I don't know what to charge people. What are you going? How does one person determine how much their work is worth, how much their work costs? What goes into that?
Yeah, no, I get what you're asking, but I don't even know how to answer that question.
Okay, if you didn't have a full-time job, we both got full-time jobs. If you didn't have a full-time job and you was doing photography full-time, like, I don't really think that having another, I mean, because normally most people have another job, like, but something. But how do you determine how much you charge people for a photo shoot or a wedding package or whatever? Let's just stay with photo shoots. How much do you determine how much you charge people for a normal photo shoot, a 1 hour photo shoot? Where does that come from? How do you determine that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know how to answer that question. My prices go, I'm serious. I'm sorry, but my prices go up yearly for inflation, and that's it. But I promise you. So every year I either go up $25 or $50, but my price has been set so many years ago that I couldn't even tell you how. I promise you.
Okay, how did you set your price? When you came up with your price for how much you charge, what went into that?
All right. So, like I said, I came here to Ohio. Business started booming out of the middle of nowhere. I told you when I was in New York, I was doing events for $100 and something. I came here. I was excited to be getting paid, and from there, I came up with two packages: a basic and a premium. And I'm sorry, bro. I just threw that price out, and that's what it was. At one point, I was doing basic sessions, 1 hour sessions for $175.
Okay.
And so then every year,
the geographical location has a lot to do
1,000%
with how much you charge. Okay.
Yes.
Fair.
That is yes.
That's fair because there are. I'm gonna have to help. So, okay, so no, it's okay. So I'm gonna agree with that. We're gonna put that up there. So geographical location will help you determine. Well, factors into how much you charge, because if you live in an area that is the fashion capital of the world, like New York, California, Florida, or places that are just really big in modeling and photography, then charging you want to charge different than somebody that lives in Utah or Wyoming, all right, where is not that important, but there's still people that's looking for photographers, wedding photographers, and things everywhere. So yes, your prices are going to be a little different because, trust me, if I move to New York, my prices for New York is going to be totally different than what is in Virginia Beach. That is, you can believe that, because I know how many people look for photographers in New York, and them models
and the
actually,
cost of living,
yes,
and how much money they make.
yes,
You know what I mean? So yeah,
and not to mention most of the modeling agencies and capitals and headquarters are in New York. Like that is breeding ground for models who are looking to put together the best portfolios. Like they pay thousands and thousands of dollars to have the best pictures to become an actual signed model. And most of
right.
those modeling agencies are in New York, because I had the opportunity to go to New York and actually sit on one of those panels when people were doing go-sees. So I
Mhm.
understand that. So geographical location, got it. All right. On top of
Yes.
that, I also think your skill set has a lot to do with how much you charge. Somebody who is not okay, so take for instance, you're a retoucher. You can
Mhm.
shoot natural light, you can use flash, you can shoot in the studio, you can shoot outside, you can shoot with LED, you can shoot with flash, you can shoot with anything. It don't matter. Depending
Mhm.
on the amount of skills and the skill set you have, the quality of work, a lot of those things determine how much you should charge. You get somebody who's charging you, if you're gonna be a photographer out here and you're gonna charge somebody $500-$600 for a photo shoot, your work needs to look like is worthy of
Right.
$500-$600. Otherwise, they're going to go to like, whoa, that's expensive. Well,
Right.
when you look at the quality of work, you want the best quality. You got to pay for quality.
Right.
But there are people who don't have quality that still charge
Yeah.
$500-$600 for a photo shoot, and that's what
And
I'm
they
saying.
get it. They literally get it. That's what I don't get it, but they get it.
I don't
I'm
get it, but
telling
they
you,
get it.
yo, it's so many people in my city that I'm telling you, like, I don't know, man. I'm doing something wrong because I'd be scared to go. That's the thing.
You got to
I
get
had
out
that
there,
same problem
man.
that people. Yeah, I had that. And in my city, I'm known. When it comes to photography, I'm known. I'm telling you, graduation season, I'm booked like every single day. We got
Facts.
OSU out here,
Yeah.
so it's like every single day I'm booked on that, no problem. And I don't because I don't turn.
Buckeye season.
Yeah, it's more people that graduate than the photographers. So you could just be a photographer out here and you will get booked like crazy during graduation, whether your work was good or not. It's just that's just how
They
intense
just need
it
them
is out
pictures.
here. They need the pictures. So, I have a nice name out here. I think I'm probably looked at. I think I know Expertise rated me as like one of the top photographers in the Columbus area a couple of years ago. I'm on their site for that. So it's like I have that. It's just me. I just feel like I don't want to go up on my prices. I need to go up on my prices, but I'm just like I'm too scared to go up on my prices.
Why is that? Because you don't think you're
Because
gonna
I
be?
feel
Because you don't
like
think people gonna book you?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I do think that. Now listen, I want to have my. You got your own studio now, right? You built your own studio, right? If I have my own studio, I think that really would help me with a lot of different things too. Because renting from other people really messes with my pricing. Now, if I have my own studio, I'll be able to adjust certain studio costs for different things. But I'm always working in a rental fee of that hour or 2 hours into my price. And because of that, it makes me feel like, dang, well, now I can't charge that much more for what I'm doing because they already getting hit with this $75 an hour. You know what I mean? That's not even coming to
And
me.
exactly.
So it's just like, it's so many different factors into it.
Yeah.
And then like when we on location, it's good because if I need to take a little bit of time to make sure we get the right photos, I'm gonna do that. But I was telling my friend, when you rent studio time, from the moment your time start, you're rushing. And I hate working rushing because you want to get all the shots you can, all the
especially
right
if you
shots
haven't worked with
before
people like that.
yeah, you want to get those. So yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, especially if you're working with clients, you don't know how they pose, you don't know, and there's a whole lot of other stuff you got to do to get the shot. So yeah, I get that, man. So yo, that is great, man. That was a great topic. Recently though, we was talking about Vegas, man, and I want to backtrack to that, man. Recently you did a shoot down there in Nella, I think it's called the Nellis Dunes, in Nevada.
Yep.
It looks like some of those shots was natural light, and it looks like a few of them was flash, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so not that many was natural light because I hate natural light. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
I needed
that was gonna be my question though.
Yeah, I hate natural light. I can't do it,
I was
bro.
gonna ask you, do
I
you
mean, I
prefer
could do
nat
it,
flash
but
or natural light?
Flash. I
Yeah.
started with Flash, and I love Flash. My AD 300s go everywhere with me. You know, I got a
Hey.
400 and a 600, but two AD 300s. You know, for a one man show
Mm-hmm.
is nice. I was supposed to have a person helping me, but he kind of got busy with something,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of I could have got. I feel like I could have got better shots if I
Mm-hmm.
because it was really windy. So
Yeah,
if
I
I had
saw that.
somebody holding my light stand, like I'm shooting at like 24, because I had a 24. I didn't even want to change my lens. You got all of this, stuff
Stuff
blowing
going
all
on.
over the
Mm-hmm.
place, and with the Nikon sensor that I have, I mean, Nikon just sent me this Z8 right here, but it don't it that sensor is exposed, and I don't want to. Yeah, so
Yeah. Out
I
there
was
in the
shooting
sand
at
too.
focal ranges. I was shooting at focal ranges I didn't want to shoot at. If I had somebody to hold the light, I could have really did a lot of compression. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, of the background by
Right.
pushing my stuff out to like 75 or something. So,
Mm-hmm.
but she liked the photos. I like the photos.
Yeah, they look like they
Uh,
came out really good, man. And not even the natural light ones came out really good. I was like, and I think the ones that I think I saw like after you posted a few, and then I think it was like the last
mhm.
like one or two, it looked like they would had a little flash on them, if I'm not mistaken, man. But the natural light ones look really good. Like this, the whole scenery, the background, and
Right.
everything. And you could definitely tell it was really like windy. And I was just thinking, I was like, why didn't you use flash out there? But now that
Yeah.
you had mentioned, I was like, all right, cool. That makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, I would
Yeah.
have had a light pole, and I would have been doing that joker myself.
But
Shoot, for real.
you would have had your weight, your little kettlebell. You
Bro,
would
it
have had
go
all
my
that.
kettlebell go. I would have had two of them out there, boy. Them gonna go
Yeah.
everywhere with me. I gotta get
But the
flash.
hike, man, the hike to get there was insane. Now
Really?
that was another thing. Yeah, yeah. And my camera, I think my camera probably weighed like 30 pounds. I
Mm-hmm.
keep so much stuff in my camera bag. So like just walking with all of that, I had some Yeezys I wasn't trying to mess up, and I messed them up. She came through with the hotel shower slippers, and
Mm-hmm.
sticks was poking through that, getting into her foot. So
Mm.
she's getting cut up just walking there. It
Wow.
just was like I was ready to go. When I got back in the car, my whole body was sweat. Like I was just covered
That's
in sweat.
crazy. Now, was that
Yeah.
part of WPPI?
Nah.
Okay.
So she gave me word that she wanted to come to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So we knocked out 4 shoots.
Mm-hmm.
We knocked out 4 shoots.
Right.
She's from here. She's from Columbus. So
Okay.
she was only out there for a day and a half.
Mm.
The first day we did 3 shoots, and then the last day we had to do a shoot for Nikon.
Yeah.
And then she went back to the plane.
That's what's
So.
up, man. So when's the last time you've been to like a big photography like event, like imaging WPPI, anything like that?
Well, WPPI.
Okay.
So I didn't do those shoots for like that wasn't like how
Mm-hmm.
people do the photo
Yeah, of
walks with other
course. Of
people.
course.
Yeah, but I mean I stay because I have a press pass with
Mm-hmm.
WPPI, so I did interviewing different companies and stuff like that. But it was that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
WPPI.
How was it?
I love it. Oh, amazing, man. You know what? That was my second time going to WPPI, and listen, I know a lot of y'all be like, "Oh, well, I don't want to go because I'm don't know anybody." This is an event packed with photographers, packed with people like you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm telling you, like the camaraderie and everything of just being around other photographers. I bumped into Francisco when I was
Of
out there.
course.
We were shooting, a model, and somebody had he had somebody set up and they canceled on him, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, bro, come shoot this. And he came through. He had like 4 people with him. We all shot the same model. It's like don't matter. It don't matter if you got a YouTube channel or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Go to WPPI. It's the best experience you're gonna ever have, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I've been there
You
several
gotta
times, man.
start getting out there.
Yeah, I haven't been recently because of military stuff, but I've been to Imaging and WPPI and everything, man.
I want to go to Imaging.
Yeah, Imaging is smaller. Imaging USA is definitely it's a little smaller, man. But
What's your favorite?
um, I mean, WPPI is just bigger. A lot of companies tend to bring like some of their new products and what's coming and stuff to WPPI versus Imaging USA. Imaging is just mainly so people like us, like content creators, and people to be
Mhm.
in like under one roof and basically just show up or show face and interact and everything.
Right.
They do have we still have classes and things that go on people can sign up and stuff for, but It's like I said, it's small. It's nowhere near as big as WPPI, but all the same, man, it's still a great time to get out, and it's one of the only
Right.
times where, besides Sony events and stuff that we go to, it's only the time where we actually get to, our creators, we actually get everybody get together and able to do stuff. So you go,
And
man.
man, look, Nikon need to do them same events that Sony be doing with them creators now. Them Sony creator
You need to
events be
tell them,
looking fun as
man. You
hell.
need to
They be
tell
looking
them.
fun.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
tell them, man. It's pretty cool, man. They fly us out and put us up in hotels, and they have models and stuff for us, and they got all the Sony gear that you can ever want or shoot with or whatever,
Yeah.
anything that you want to test out. Food, everything is a really,
Yeah.
it's really nice time. But you do
Definitely.
have and I was gonna ask you about that before. In this day and age, man, it feels like people don't like collaborating. Like some people are really like, kind of to their self. You don't see a lot of
Mm-hmm.
collaborations on YouTube no more. You don't see a lot of people actually, coming together and, trying to put stuff together and break bread and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to even start this podcast, because I wanted, to have, I wanted everybody to have a platform to talk and,
Right.
just talk about, photography and chop it up when we're not at WPPI or Imaging or other places. You know what I'm saying? We should still be able to
Right.
come together somehow and talk, but I don't see nobody else doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I figured I would just, hey, I got a platform. I might as well just do it myself, man. But do you think people have not necessarily a problem with each other, but why people don't do more collaborations with photographers or with
So
each
this
other?
is what I'm gonna tell you. I feel especially if we talking YouTube, I feel like it's possible that a lot of people fall out of love with photography. Collaborations and stuff like that are based on how you feel about photography. Imagine you got basketball players, they compete during the season, but in the off season, what they doing? They training together. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
because they love the sport. I love photography, so
Absolutely.
I'm always gonna love. And you never hit a ceiling. It's no ceiling. It's no ceiling to photography.
So much
It's no ceiling to art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you always gonna learn something. So it's like I love being around people, even if I feel I do this better than this person. And that's even if I feel, because that's opinion based, right? It's no fact that I even do that better than that person. But even if I feel that way, it's still something that they had that they could offer. A person knew frequency separation, and it took me a while to even be like, nah, I don't want to mess with it. I mess with it, I'm like, man, this is cool. So it's just like collaborations could only make you better. That's all it can do is make you better.
Absolutely.
And you stick to yourself. It's not saying you won't be better, but it's like you got to start being able to see things different ways.
But
Like, period.
and that's funny. But you know what? It's like people don't even know you, and they judge you by I learned a lot from Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? And he just talks about how people are intimidated by like his swag, and he talks about what about me. What about me, and what do you have a problem with, or if my confidence makes you uncomfortable, then that's something about you. And I feel like
Correct.
people are just intimidated by your swag and your confidence, and you know what I'm saying. It's like I'm not, and I tell people all the time, like I know there's a lot of people who don't follow me or who don't like me, and it's like I'm not cocky, but I am a very confident individual because I know what my work looks like. I know my knowledge, and I'm always helping people. I'm always trying to do things to encourage and teach other photographers. But there's just some people out there who just don't who just don't like you just because you a brother and you think you know everything, and you too cocky and this and this. And I'm just like, hey, if my confidence offends you, then that's something about you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to do with that, but
and you can't do nothing about that.
Absolutely
At the end of the day, they just gotta, and you just gotta move. You gotta continue to be you. If it's one thing I try not to ever do, but see, I'm not on that. I'm not on that level yet. So I don't really have at least it hasn't approached me yet
Mm-hmm.
with anybody that feels a way about.
Okay.
I've had a lot of falling outs with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but especially, yeah. So, but I approached that a good way as well. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I see people in Vegas at WPPI that, you know, I feel a way about, and
Mm-hmm.
and I still shake their hand, and I still smile in their face,
Mm-hmm.
and I shoot their models.
Mm-hmm.
And they models took anyway. I don't want to be petty right now, yeah. But
spill the
yeah.
tea, no, spill the tea on Underexposed. Let's expose them now.
Hey man,
That's funny.
yeah.
That's
I mean, you know
hilarious.
what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully,
You in the Midwest. You gotta remember,
same.
I'm from the Midwest, man. So I know.
Yeah.
I
Like
absolutely know.
when it came to do with your black beauty, I do want to say one thing.
Uh-huh.
I want to say one thing. I don't understand how a person can make a video about a product they haven't used and think that is like that's a different type of hate right there. Now, if you got a product and you make a product review,
Mm-hmm.
you entitled to that.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
But if you don't even got the product and you go on 2-3 videos about a product, bro, at that point that's kind of hate. I'm just saying that's kind of hate, and that was one thing because last time we spoke, you didn't have your product out at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just like, especially when we the same, you know what I mean, and we know what we deal with when it comes to
Other
YouTube
stuff.
and all of it. Yeah, like we know what it is. Like, I don't care if you like it or not. Either you support it or you shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that simple. You don't own it. You support it or you shut up.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
But it's like, to jump on something quick like that, man, these people be crazy. Now that's a different type of hate right there. That's,
yeah, man. I already knew that, you know, a lot of that stuff was coming, man. But I can only say that everybody who has bought it and it is still doing very, very well, we have received nothing but absolute praise for it and what it can do. And then like I said, even the people that had it and, you know, said whatever they said about it, like they love to leave out like all the details. That's why I had to come out with a video, and you put them side by side, like straight out of camera. Like the black dish is gonna win every time because it doesn't project in that amount of intensity of light. It cusses and just gives you just a beautiful, nice, soft image. And I said straight out of camera. A lot of people just want to say things just to say things, but you know, I can only say thank God that it has been doing very, very well, man. A lot of people are absolutely loving it. We get comments and stuff every day, all the time, and you know, to be African American, and you know, you got to remember, we work in an industry where like there's nothing that's really ever been created by somebody of our skin tone. You know, we don't make lenses, you know, we don't make cameras, we don't make lights, we don't make anything. Honestly, this is the first time ever that somebody that has actually created a product, you know, in this industry. So I was very proud of it, man. And you know, for the people that supported me and, you know, have my back on some things, you know what I'm saying? Because there's always your own that kind of like want to, you know, shut you down, man. But you know, for the amount of people that wanted to do that, there was two or three times more with the support, man, and it's been overwhelming. So I really appreciate it, man. It's been great.
Definitely.
Yeah,
man.
definitely. But yeah, man, I'm wrapping it up, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get you out of here, man. This has been amazing, man. We got to do this again, man. Sometimes we can we got some topics that we need to go a little bit more in depth with. I wish we had more time, bro. But I think you right on there too, because you got a lot to say too. So we gonna bring you back on so you can say
when it comes to that person, you know, but hey,
we gonna bring it back, man, for round 2, man. But yeah, man, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at, man. What does Mr. Ryan Troy have going on for himself, man? Go ahead and give your time, man. Let people know where they can get you.
So, you know, YouTube channel, just search Ryan Troy. You should see me. Instagram, Ryan Troy _, not the word underscore, but the actual underscore. And just follow me on Instagram. Just all, like I said in the beginning, all I have is just this content I'm trying to do this summer. Ohio's winters are brutal, and I'm just trying to get that sun and get these photos out, man.
Hey,
thank you.
There it is,
Thank you
man.
for having me.
Oh, absolutely, bro. And if they don't know about that Midwest weather, you gotta remember I'm from Indianapolis, so they don't know about that Midwest weather, boy. You just don't want to be in that area, man. But yo, that's our time, man. I want to thank everybody for checking out this episode of Underexposed with my boy Ryan Troy, man. This was absolutely amazing, man. Until next time, make sure you guys comment and like the video, man. Tell us what you liked about it, man, and take the conversation to the comments, man. We love to see it, man. Until next time,
Definitely.
Peace, love, and hair grease, and we will see y'all in the next video. We out of this piece.
Hey, yo, Brandon, what's poppin', boy? Underexposed podcast. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I heard. You already know what it is. Let's get it.